I introduce myself, I want to say that I do recognise how world-class you all are. One of the things, I'm Angela Smith MP, I represent Penistone and Stocksbridge in Parliament, the home of the white-faced woodland, better known in my area as the Penistone sheep. And I am something of a rare breed myself, actually, being a Labour MP who represents a rural area in Parliament. That's not very common. Westminster is a place where consensus is still important. That's why I continue to be a member with Neil, the chair of the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs Committee. We are launching soon, I believe, an inquiry on trading in the context of the forthcoming, well, apparently forthcoming departure from the European Union. And on that note, I think it's very important that this industry, if you like, this expertise has a role or a voice in the inquiry. And I think Neil may say something about that, but I really think it's important. Because one of the things about parliamentarians is I've spent all my parliamentary career taking an interest in this field, environment, food and agriculture. But the more you know, the more you realise you don't know. So we need to keep hearing the voices of the entire field, if you like. And we need to hear from you how you think you could build your export activity, build the success of what you do. How do you think you need supporting in terms of that research capability? And I think, to be honest, most people in Parliament don't even realise that all this is going on. So the more that you raise your voice and the more that you make your voice heard in political circles, the more likely it is that, particularly in the context of the forthcoming Brexit negotiations and the need to see the UK reach out beyond the borders of the European Union in terms of its trade and its exports, you need to make sure you're in there making sure that we are aware, both in terms of government and Parliament, what it is that you can do and where you think you can go to in the future. So on that note, I'll pass on to Neil, who is chair of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela, and it's great to be here. And of course, Professor Tim Morris is the reason why we're here, because I describe him as a great fixer in and around Parliament, in and around DEFRA, in and around government. And before you shoot us, we're not actually from government, we're actually the select committee. We're here to scrutinise government and we're here to listen to you as well. So perhaps, hopefully, we may be a rare breed of politician that may listen occasionally. So we'll try and do that this morning. I, like many of you, left school at 16, and of course I had a father who was a farmer who was very careful with money, and so never got any wages, so therefore I had saddleback pigs, cross them with large white, and it's an interesting, the blue pig of those days, and they think that landrace and large white could almost be extinct. It's just something very difficult to comprehend. And I think we, from the stud here, from the breeding, there is, even if you take from looking at the rare breeds of dog or anything, there is too much, I think, close breeding going on. Too much almost. I don't like the term line breeding. I think it's inbreeding. I've always believed in that. So I think, we are here with all this great gene pool. And if you sort of go through what we've looked at this morning, if you look at the sort of poultry industry and the pig industry, much of that is very intensive. Government's asking and the population is asking us to use less antibiotics through intensive reduction. So perhaps there is a real role there for introducing some new gene pool, introducing something in there that can actually have greater resistance. And I think, poultry and pigs. And then from the grass side of it, you see with sheep and cattle, also can we make more conversion rates? Can we actually get more from that grass? And the native breeds, there's no doubt that produce more meat off of that grass. And I think, then do we promote that? Do we promote that more, through the regional breeds, through our local breeds and native breeds, so that when our tourists come to visit our areas, can we actually market that more? And Angela made the point, we're, as we leave the European Union, what is the role? You know, it is going to be a brave new world out there where farming is going to have to be very competitive, very productive, but also linked, I think, even more than it is today, into the market and into how we actually, you know, present that food. So, you know, very, very interesting what we've heard this morning. And so what I would say to you is, like I said, hopefully we're doing this inquiry into trade and into Brexit, and then we're doing one on agriculture, and then on fisheries, or fisheries first and then agriculture, because they're both in the Queen's speech, but there's a bill for each. But I think what we would be, I hope that we, because it's trying to get everybody in to give evidence, but we'd like you to be able to give some evidence, because I think, you know, there is a great future for the rare breeds, and I echo what Angela said. The technology here this morning is absolutely amazing, and it's great to see it all going on. And I think, you know, not only is it an export market, but I think there's also a home market as well, which we can build on. So we've learned a great deal here this morning, and hopefully we can bring somebody along to the select committee, because the idea of the reports, you see, is to put them together, present them to government, and try and get government to follow them, and then sort of chastise them if they don't, and then keep gnawing away at it. I always say we're a bit like terriers. We keep gnawing away until such time as we get government to listen. And of course, Angela and I'm a Conservative, Angela's Labour, but of course on the committee, seldom do we really fall out over politics. And so therefore it's not just about question time where we, in Parliament, where we sort of lambaste each other. We can actually, believe it or not, sit down cross-party. Of course, Andrew's in the north and I'm in the southwest, so we're a long way apart, so we're not in competition with one another. That also helps, I think. But generally speaking, I think on the select committee we do get on, we take evidence across party, and when we put, I think, what I believe is good reports. So again, thank you very much, Tim, for organising us to come this morning, and we look forward to going round the stud this afternoon to see great breeding of the horses here, and again sort of introducing more and more, you know, old blood and new blood into the system, because I am a great believer in the end that if we can get a more diversity of gene pool, then we've got a stronger breeds, whatever they might be. So thank you very much.